12 to 20 billion to fund it. So this is a tough promise that he made, and it may very well not be able to be upheld.
Is the United States of America prepared to embark on the most ambitious privately funded civil works project that cannot be scaled over or tunneled under while permanently sealing the southern border with Mexico? Can the American people inspire its brightest minds to dig a concrete foundation before the ground, to sustain a 5-story superstructure above the ground, to support a natural gas-powered freight train that cuts through all the Mexican drug tunnels on the southern border for 1,900 miles? Can the will of the American people, as a novel expression of American engineering, not seen since the NASA space program, reinvent how domestic cargo is distributed from the West Coast to the East Coast while reducing the carbon footprint on America's highways? Can the American oil and natural gas industries construct these pipelines to export these energies via this superstructure to the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, competing with the Panama Canal while diminishing the role that the Middle East plays in the world's energy supply? When the answer to all 4 questions is yes, the quagmire of the porous southern border is resolved forever. This is the 10th wonder of the world, the Great Wall of Will. You and I both know as Americans that America's manifest destiny was visualized, completed, and executed because of the promise of the American Railroad. It's time to look at the American Railroad again. Historically, the American railroad industry, unlike the airline industry, benefited from the correct use of federal deregulation. The Staggerds Act of 1980 allowed the locomotive rail industry to police themselves and create efficiencies of scale by successfully lowering shipping rates to customers while increasing freight volume and profitability. This ran parallel with the reinvention of the industry. Railroad companies invested over $575 billion in infrastructural improvements to 140,000 miles of American railroads nationwide. Let them build 1,900 miles of the border. It is time to compete with the Panama Canal, the Hoover Dam, and show ourselves off as we did with the NASA space program. Can you think of a better idea for the border? Can you understand what this really means for the American people? Does this not make America great again? Those who quit striving for excellence must move over for those who refuse not to. Our naysayers will call us racists. The people of the United States have spoken. They voted for Donald J. Trump. Massive amounts of people that covering the vast portions of the United States are calling for a revolution of sorts. Think big. The message was clear. Make America great again. It's that simple. There is no other alternative. There is no better way to seal our border than for it to actually be a job generator. There is no way I was born to just pay bills and die, and either were you. Donald Trump, President Trump, and Melania, you know what "In God We Trust" means. You understand. Thomas Jefferson once said, "A wise and frugal government, which shall restrain men from injuring one another, which shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from labor the bread that it has earned." This is a sign of frugal government. This is wise government. We've got to think big. If we do not think big, sorry to tell you, Americans, there's a lot of people with a lot of taste, but very few people are bold and will dare to be creative. It's time to think really big, America. The Real ID Act is a federal law that allowed Mexicans and Mexican authorities on the border with the United States to actually have access to driver's license records to be able to monitor criminals leaving the United States into Mexico, but not vice versa. Isn't that peculiar? Well, that act also defined what the border would look like from a security fence perspective. If we don't build a train on top of a 50-foot concrete bulwark, we will get another disgusting display of billions of dollars wasted with a 32-foot wall and a 33-foot ladder of Mexicans jumping over it, with drones and ICE agents running around for bloated payroll in the billions. Never-ending saga of wasting your money. Understand that this is the greatest civil works project, not a special interest wall that is fast becoming. I've approached the Trump administration. I've approached the Ted Cruz administration when they ran for the presidency. Senator Cruz had a responsibility to think of something big. 1,534 to 54 miles of 1,900 miles is in Texas. I never understood why not consider a magnanimous wall and become president of the United States. The big idea. The campaign was about the big idea. And now the Trump train has arrived on a wall with his name on it. And now he is president of the United States. Stay free, my friends. Back in a moment.
It could be, as we said, a surprise for folks on the border, especially supporters. Here's what the Washington Post said about that just this other week. It said, quote, "To build the wall along the nearly 2,000-mile border and fulfill a key campaign promise, Trump will need to wield the power of the government to forcefully take private properties, including those belonging to his supporters." So let's say you are a supporter. You've got your, your back lawn, you've got your ranch, and someone comes knocking on your door saying, "We're taking your land."
And they raise it. I mean, they raise it
They're
first.
absolutely, unquestionably, go to the court and say, "Court, I need immediate assistance." Lawyer up, go into court, get that injunction, as Richard said, and then move the process along. It's going to tie up things for years to come.
And there's no other option. You have to run to court, because the bottom line is, if you do not, then they will give you money and you won't have a property to live in. So clearly, you have to take affirmative action.
Everything ends up in court these days. In this country. It seems
Exactly.
like
Lucky for us, then.
The beauty of the Great Wall of Will is simple. The government is not going to pay for this. Who is? The American people, through a national infrastructure bank where you and I get to buy shares on the exchange. And this bank, underwritten by Wall Street, will be publicly traded. And in its charter will be the guarantor, the U.S. government's border easement, the land all the way across the border. Very much how the railroads were created during the days of manifest destinies. As imports and exports of the natural gas and imports of freight arrive in the port of San Diego and in the port of Brownsville, Texas, the Infrastructure Bank receives all these proceeds. All the taxes received that's moving through the pipeline in natural gas and the cargo above it in the freight line will go to fortify the National Infrastructure Bank. The trains will be called Willies because they will arrive on time. There will not be passengers. There will only be cargo. Money, money, money. This makes America great again. Anything less is just uncivilized. Stay free, my friends. Will it? It will. I will. Will you? The Great Wall of Will.